Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Express Entry Live Q&A. I'm Mark Holthe, Canadian immigration lawyer, ex-immigration officer, and former high school teacher, coming to you live from the beautiful city of Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada, where my office is located. Now, I'm here in my downtown office with a little bit of a different look, a different feel compared to the regular office at home. But we've got lawyers that are up in Calgary, and I'm really excited to hear news that Igor has been approved for his article. So he'll be starting his article. So watch more from my fearless compadre Igor as he enters into his legal career here in Alberta. I'm really excited for him. So I will be his principal, and that will probably start here in a few weeks once we get the official approval from the Law Society of Alberta. So it's exciting to see Igor's progression, and I'm excited to have him join the ranks. Alicia as well is been working hard. We've got a lot of corporate work that we're doing these days, and seems like the economy in Alberta as well as across Canada is heating up, and that's resulting in more opportunities for people who are looking to not only immigrate but potentially get a job offer. And this is a legitimate job offer, not one of those sketchy things. With that being said, I'm going to flip over here and just share my screen, and I want to point out our podcast. And those of you who are new to all of this, the Canadian Immigration Podcast is a great place to turn when you're in your commute, when you're riding to work on your transit or your C train in Calgary or your subway, wherever you're at. And you'll see that there is a bunch of podcasts. Igor and I have been doing a series on the QUET visa and all of the good, the bad, and the ugly associated with it. And then you can see here we've done a couple podcast episodes. And then Alicia and I, if you are interested in work permits and that whole world, whether you're an immigration lawyer, whether you're a consultant, whether you're a company, we have a business immigration series that is sponsored by Journey Business Plan. So big shout out to them. And it's all about initially the foreign worker program, the world of LMIAs. And so there's a lot of really, really interesting things. And don't forget our impossible trivia. The Impossible Canadian Trivia. So if you watch past episodes, you can play along with us as well. So check that out if you have not yet had a chance to do it, because it is one of the more enjoyable things that I have going. And it allows you to multitask. You can do more than one thing at once, including having an earbud in listening to it while you're at work, versus watching this live stream where maybe your employer will look over your shoulder and say, "What are you doing watching YouTube during work hours?" So welcome, everybody. It's great to have you here. As always, please post where you're tuning in from. Like Renee here is tuning in from Jamaica. How you doing, Renee? It's great to have you joining. Hold off on your questions for now, and I want to do a few shout outs. I love to see where people are tuning in from. Okay, Mady, good to see you once again. Algeria, thanks for connecting in. And let's see if we've got a few other shout outs that we can give. Well, as people start to tune in and connect to our live stream today, we'll definitely give more shout outs as we go. What else is happening? Well, I pushed the wrong button there. Let's flip back here to the Canadian Immigration Institute, because yes, the Express Entry course is launched and it is available for purchase. And on May the 22nd to the 25th, we are doing the masterclass every evening, 4 to 5 p.m. This is going to be your chance to connect in and get all of your questions answered that somehow, some impossible world, I don't know how it happens, after watching all the lessons. And if you scroll down, you will see, guys, that there's over 10 hours of content here, all on demand, all available instantly right now. So you can go in, watch the videos. The Mastering Your Documents module is full of every kind of explanation you would want for every document that is required for the Express Entry purpose. And there is literal walkthrough of every step, no matter where you're at, whether you're just learning what Express Entry is about, whether you're creating your profile, whether you're completing that profile, or maybe you've got an ITA and now you're at the EAPR stage and need help with all of those documents. So there's something for everybody there. So definitely register now, because that extra time before the 22nd, when the masterclass starts, will allow you to go through, watch the videos, and to build out your question database. Then we have a private group that we meet in that's very similar to this, where you can get all your questions answered. And if you can't make the 4 to 5 p.m. time, no worries at all. There's no issues at all. You can leave a message in the group and every single question gets answered. So there you go. It's a tremendous value, and it's something I've been doing for years, and it just keeps getting better and better. And yeah, I absolutely love it. So make sure that you sign up if you have not done that. There's links in the descriptions below for you to do that. All right, let's see who else is connected in before we jump to answering questions. We've got Gate Onyx from Edmonton. Hello, great to see you. Oh, we've got Divine up in Edmonton as well. 2 Alberta viewers. Great to have you here. Mary Botway is over in Ghana. My 2 favorite people in the world, Corey and Meryl White, are serving a mission for our church in Ghana. And yes, they are. I wonder if I can pull up just while we're here. Hey, everything is all spontaneous, isn't it? Okay, let's see here. I'm going to see if I can find their most recent blog post. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's see if we can find. I'm going to click on read more and pull it up, and I'm going to share it with you. So this is so cool. Okay, I'm going to share this. I love this. Okay, so check this out, you guys. So this is Corey and Meryl White. This is their blog post. They're over in Ghana right now. So, so Mary, maybe they will, maybe you're near them. I don't know if you are, but anyways, so this is Corey, and yeah, I think he's got some treats for the kids here, probably, but just wonderful. They're having a wonderful experience there, and one day I hope to do the same thing with my wife as well, serve a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And for many of you who don't know, I got into all of this whole world of immigration because I served a mission in Portugal, and I learned to speak Portuguese. And it was a wonderful 2 years of my life when I was 19 years old. And yeah, it's literally transformed. It's determined basically everything that I am over the last 30 plus years since I've been home from my mission. And it has been just an amazing run. And now I'm doing all of this and getting to know all of you. So Mary, hello, and watch out for Corey and Meryl. I don't know if you're in Accra or where you are, Mary, but great to have you tuning in. Thank you so much. Okay, Joel is over in Thunder Bay, Ontario. Great to see you. And then we've got Mendu here. Oh, and Ndesiwe from South Africa. Thanks for connecting in. Vaibhav, hey, is over in Brampton, Ontario. Thanks for giving me a shout out. And Fudil says, I'd love to live in Canada. Well, that is something I think a lot of people are shooting for. And I love it. It's a beautiful place. And we've got Simran over in Abbotsford. So thank you guys for connecting in. It's great to have you here. Let's jump back now and let's dive into some questions, shall we? Let's do it. Okay, first one here, we'll start with Neil. So it looks like a 2-parter. It says, I have 3 to 4 years of work experience in the same company, but in 2 different job titles. I had the same responsibilities and knock, okay? In my work history, should I add 2 different entries or just one with the latest title and let the reference letter state the 2 titles? So what I do, and this is something that we work with our clients directly who retain us, who hire our firm, as well as what I teach in my course, my Express Entry course, is that if you have different positions and they may have different job titles, usually there's a little bit of a change in responsibility, right? Maybe you have added responsibilities, but your duties remain the same and it's the same knock, or there's a wage increase, a pay jump, right? And when you get that pay raise, it also distinguishes that this is a new position. So I always separate them out in my work history, and then I use the same reference letter to include both positions, and then that's how I deal with it, amongst other other things that I do to try to prove it. But essentially, that's it. I create 2 different entries, and then I use one reference letter that includes both of the positions. All right, good question, Neil. Thank you very much. Okay, Noel, okay, or Noel says, could you please explain dual intent and its visa acceptance rate? I'm already applied as a dependent under a mother's application now. I'd submitted my study visa separately. Please explain. Well, dual intent basically what it means is, and here, let me pull it up here. We'll just pull it up here, and then you can, we'll pull up a couple different things here. So we'll start here with this. This is probably as helpful as anything. It's the program delivery instructions, essentially, from IRCC. And this right here, and I don't think I can put the actual link, but if you type it up, you just look it up, you'll be able to see. Dual intent is specifically designed to allow a person, and you can see here, an officer should be satisfied that a temporary resident application, so that's you applying for your study permit, has a genuine intention to fulfill their obligations as a temporary resident and to leave at the period authorized for their stay. But in assessing these bona fides, the most important thing when they're assessing dual intent is that you can, notwithstanding all of these bona fide assessments, you can still have an intention to apply for permanent resident status in Canada and abide by the temporary conditions imposed by whatever temporary visa you've been issued. And there was a directive recently on dual intent that just counseled the officers once again to not be jerks. And just because someone has an express entry profile, or maybe they're dependent on a spouse's or a mother's PR application, doesn't mean that they can't and shouldn't issue a study permit to people who have, genuine ties to their home country. And just because you have a permanent resident application doesn't mean that you can't also be issued a temporary one. But with that being said, Noel, the reality is many officers still take a harsh view of it and still will refuse a temporary application if you've shown an interest in becoming a permanent resident. And we work with clients all the time when we're trying to sort those things out. And just a reminder for everybody, if you go to our firm website here, you will see that there is a ton of other information, blog posts in particular, that you can search and get access to that cover just a ton of breaking news, updates, tips, strategies, everything. And so definitely go back and check those out. If you're a reader, we offer that as well as the audio and this podcast. And if you have a specific question, all you have to do is click on Speak to a Lawyer to be able to book a consult with Alicia and myself. So slide in there and any extra help that you need. And that's probably a good time to also let you know that sometimes when when people are asking questions, I will ring this little triangle, which means that this is really a specific question you're asking that really requires more background information. And it's really legal advice, not just immigration information. And so, if I ring that bell, then I recommend that you slide over and you go to our firm website, and the links are all below, and you click on Speak to a Lawyer, and then you can book that consult. And feel free to slide over and check a look at our reviews and see what other clients are saying. We set this up about a year and a half ago, and we've got about 125 reviews there, so that you guys can go check that out and see if it's something you feel will help you to make the decision to pull the trigger and book a consult. Okay, there we go. Let's keep zipping through here. Let's see what we have next. Okay, we've got Shibatel says, my biometrics are done on the 17th of April. When can I expect my passport request as per current timelines? Many thanks. Okay, I need a whole lot more information than that because I don't even know which program you applied under. If it was express entry, it just depends. You can go here, and we talk a lot about this as well in all of these live streams. When you're searching and you just type in here, well, actually, I'll go down here so you can see it, IRCC processing times. This is as close as you're going to get an idea of when things are. And I'll turn off Mary there. You can see right here, if you type in, if it's express entry, economic immigration, and then you can choose your program. So we'll say you're outside of Canada, federal skilled worker. If you click on timelines, you can see right now it listed as 26 months. Now that is the high end. And are there people that are still waiting 26 months? Yes, there are, because I have some people that have booked consults wondering if mandamus is a route that they should go. And sometimes that mandamus applications are ones that you can use to kind of jog immigration and get their attention and get an application processing that's stalled out. If we look at the Canadian experience class, however, in Canada, the processing times are drastically different. In fact, they're down to 4 months. So it just depends on which type of application you're submitting. And Shibatel, I don't even know if it's express entry, although I'm assuming it is. Okay, another awesome express entry question. Mady says, in regards of proof of funds, my father's gonna make 2 deposits into the account as my bank doesn't allow more than 4,000 deposits per week. Should I mention both transfers in a single gift deed? Yeah, you can do that. That's totally fine. No problems at all. And when people are talking about gift deeds within the course, I have a ton of sample gift deeds that are in there. And so if I slide over here, I'm just going to log right in. And this is the same. This is what it would look like if you're logging into the course. So I'll jump down here to Express Entry right here. Okay, and then if we jump down to Module 6, Mastering Your Documents, you will see here that I have a section that's entirely on proof of funds. I got to go one more page. And then here's the proof of funds. And each of the lessons are just like this. There's a video. This one's 22 minutes long. It covers a ton of things. We've got a sample checklist that you can give your bank for generating the bank letter. What if I don't have funds? Gift deed templates. I've got 3 different ones. A generic Word version. I've got gift deed from India, which is so common over there. And then I even have the equivalent example in Canada just for you as downloads within the course. So the Express Entry course is absolutely loaded with this type of help that can guide you. And like I said, whether you're just starting out in your journey, whether you've got a profile that you want to update, whether you've just received an ITA and you're filing your Express Entry, there's absolutely something for everyone, including CPD accreditation for consultants and lawyers. And I had a great consult just before this one with a lawyer up in Edmonton who's getting into Express Entry. And we had a good conversation about job offers because those suckers are not easy. They are not. Okay, let's see. What do we have next here? Who's up? Hey, it's Sam. Sam Dawson. Great to have you connecting in here, my friend. He says, we are waiting on the Manitoba PNP application to process. Since our last consult, yes, we have just purchased a house here in Manitoba while we wait for the M&P Express Entry and process, moving in June. Congratulations, Sam. That is awesome. I'm going to give you some applause, my friend. That is fantastic. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you guys. Oh, I love it when past clients connect in and give me an update on how things are going. Okay, Jackson says, hey, Mark, my CEC application has been in process for more than 8 months, and it's been under security check for almost 6 months. Would mandamus still work these days? Yeah, it always does, Jackson. And I recommend that you book a consult and we can talk about that and just see if it makes sense in the circumstances. Obviously, if there's been no meaningful steps going forward and it's just, it's really stalled out, then that in some cases is an opportunity to consider a mandamus application. And we've seen quite an effective approach to using these mandamuses to get things moving forward. We've seen a lot of times where applications will magically start to move forward when a mandamus application is filed. So definitely something to consider, Jackson. And like I said, don't hesitate to slide over here and book a consultation with myself or Alicia. I can guarantee you'll find a spot right away. In fact, I'm always curious what my days are pretty full, but let's just see what we have for availability. I'm always curious. Let's see, what's the next one? Oh, this week is a full week. Well, regardless, apparently I'm busy all day tomorrow and Friday. So if you are looking to slide in Monday, you can book a consult with me. And let's see, I wonder what Alicia's schedule is like. Let's slide back here a little bit. And I'm just flipping around here all over the place. Let's slide back to Alicia and see what her availability is. Let's see. Oh, Alicia has appointments tomorrow. So there you go. See, it's pretty hard not to get a consult with us within like literally a day. And I have usually people booking consults the evening before I get up. So I end up getting up in the morning and saying, hey, I've got consults. And if I look today, let's see what I've got today here. I'm always curious what my days are going to look like. So I've got my live Q&A, and then I've got our firm weekly strategy meeting, which I'm really looking forward to at 11. And then I've got an Express Entry review at 1:30. And then I've got a consult that slid in at 3:30. Very cool. So we'll see how all of this plays out. Another very fun day. All right, let's see. Moving on here. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm not missing anyone. I think we had a super actually come in. Oh, we do. Okay, let's see if I can find this. Let's see if I can find the super. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. because I think the person who did the super didn't put their question in with the super. So now I'm going to have to find it. So bear with me as we work through. There's a bunch of questions that have come through. Okay, so this is, okay, I'm trying to find your question here. Let's see if I can find Odelia here. Okay, here we go. Sometimes I have to go back and find it. Okay, can someone who's on a closed work permit apply to a school and switch to a study permit? And can the person's spouse apply for a spousal open work permit both from inside Canada? Yes, it is possible. Short answer, yes, you can. And so it really just comes down to, how you're describing it. And remember, if you're anytime you're on a closed work permit or a study permit, you can switch from within Canada and apply to change conditions to one of those other statuses. So yes, it is absolutely possible. Okay, let's slide down and see where I was at. Okay, next question is from Renuma. In my PCC, it is written that I have no adverse information which would render me ineligible to travel to Canada. Can this be used to apply for PR? Well, it depends on the date in which that police clearance certificate was issued. And yes, that's great that there's no adverse information. That's wonderful. So police clearance certificates, the validities vary depending upon the type of application that you're submitting. So when it comes to permanent residence, if you're going through express entry, if the police clearance certificate is issued in the country in which you're currently residing, it's only valid for 6 months. If it was issued after you left that country, and you haven't gone back, then that police clearance certificate has is valid indefinitely. Now, IRCC can always go back and ask you to get a new one, but that's kind of how police clearance certificates work. And of course, all throughout the course, that is where I have specific sections within the course itself that that deal with this exact topic and break it down in great detail. And I'm just going to slide over here and just show you. So in the mastering your documents, like I talked about before, you can see passports, e-medicals, police certificates. Police certificates alone, I have a growing database of countries and police certificates so that people can see what they should look like. And their samples, you can see that's a nice big long list there. And that has been continuing to build over the years. So excellent. Great question. Okay, let's see what we have next here. Neil, you're very welcome. And Mary says, can you help get work at Canada? I don't do work, but I will tell you that I have a company right now. And let's see if I can pull this up for you guys. Let's pull this up here. Okay, this is probably the best one to do here. Okay, so this is probably a good one. I'll just share this with you guys. So one of our clients, Goldorado, and this is just on the Indeed website, they are looking for a number of positions that they're hiring. And so one of the best ways is to go to these sites like Indeed and look for positions. And we have, especially when it comes to, they've got paving crews, fleet coordinators, heavy equipment operators, utility operators. These positions, like this one, for example, here, there are lots of opportunities, and they're actively looking for foreign nationals as well as people within Canada. So, but these is for experienced people, and yeah, if you've got experience as a heavy equipment operator in particular, I highly recommend that you connect in and to this company, Goldorado Contracting Corporation, which is one of our clients. Okay. Trying to help them get the word out because they're really looking for people. Okay, let's see what else is next. Okay, Mady asks a follow-up question. Can the application be rejected for any other reason than misrep or not enough proof of funds? If my application is genuine and I provide all the documents, am I going to get PR for sure? Well, I can tell you, Mady, that if you've answered all the questions, you are completely eligible. You've been able to demonstrate, and the onus is on you to prove it, that you have all of the human capital that you've claimed within your express entry process. Then there's no reason for an officer to refuse. They're not going to just refuse because they don't like you. If you meet the requirements, then the application will be approved, and if you can demonstrate it. And that's what we work with our clients all the time, Mady. Through our collaborative process, our direct lawyer to individual. We have no middle people. We work directly with you. That's our model. And the purpose of doing that is to make sure that it's right, so that you, Mady, and I sleep well at night, because we know we've done everything right, and it's just a matter of time to get it processed. Alva, hello. It's great to have you connecting in. Fantastic. Let me just see here. I want to see if I have a picture. I don't think I do. Let's just see here. Okay, I just want to pull up a. Okay, I'll share this one with you guys. Okay, so basically, I'm going to see if I can pull this across. I think I can. Just give me a second. I want to share a picture of my son. I don't have, let's see, I'm just trying to think if I have a, let's see if I can pull this across. Doesn't seem like it wants to let me. I was going to share a picture here. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to share this picture. I'm going to Alva, because I can't remember, Alva, where you are, but I think some of you know my son is down in, let's see if this will actually go on. Yeah, there we go. So this is my son, Connor, on the left. He's a tall, strapping lad. This is his companion, and he's a missionary. He's down in Chile right now. So apparently they were helping to volunteer bake some cookies. So that's those are some big honking pans of cookies that him and his companion were that they were baking down there in Chile, and I'm sure they were volunteering for something. So that was that's my son Connor, and I'll share one other picture. Connor's just about home. It's hard to believe that he's been there for, well, it's like he's probably 20 months now. He's got about 4 months left before he comes home. We sure have missed him all those years. It gives me a lot of, what's the best way of describing it? It gives me a much better understanding and compassion for people who are separated from their families for years, waiting for their permanent residence to come through so that they can sponsor them. The Filipino community especially are just, it's so common for them to be separated from their family for so many years. And it's been really hard, being separated from Connor. Here you can see this is his group. I think he's taken, I'm just looking here, I think he's at the back right here. And then this family here in white, these two brothers got baptized. And so that was their, he taught them, and they joined the church down there in Chile. So just a wonderful, wonderful experience. And like I said, that's what set the stage for me. So I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now if it wasn't for the time I spent serving a mission. Okay, Spider-Man says, "Hey Mark, saying hi from the bed from Montreal, recovering from the ACL surgery." Oh, I am so sorry to hear that. My other son, when he was preparing to go down to Suriname for his mission, he was in the missionary training center in Utah, in Salt Lake City, and he was running around the track and just stopped. He's running and went to slow down, decelerate, and just stepped kind of funny, and he tore his ACL running around the track. And so he had to come home for 6 months and then have surgery. And so I feel for you, Spider-Man. Here's hoping that your recovery will be quick and swift, and that you'll return back to your full strength in that knee. So really, really tough. But my prayers are with you, my friend. Okay. Okay. Odelie says, actually I already answered that one. That was the super chat. Okay. Olasine says, "I created my Express Entry profile while awaiting my accompanying spouse's ECA from Wes. I have now gotten an ITA and also gotten the ECA, but the ITA precedes the ECA. Is there any law on this? Example, section 811.2. Well, think of this way. Without the ECA, and you wouldn't have gotten any points, right? Without that ECA, your spouse's work education would not have been afforded any points. So the reality is it's not even necessary. If you got your ITA before then, unless you wouldn't have even been able to enter the education in to get points. Well, you could have entered the education in, but you weren't getting any points because there was no ECA report, right? So unless I'm missing something here, it doesn't affect anything because you're actually adding points, not losing points, if you are adding an ECA for education when one did not exist before. So yeah, but congratulations on the ITA. That's fantastic. I just love hearing when people get that golden ticket. Oh, it's so awesome. Okay, Mady says, sorry if I'm asking too much. If you get married after AOR, you add your spouse, does it reset the processing time? Well, it definitely does add a whole bunch more processing in. It does, Mady. Does it reset it completely? Well, in the days of 6 months processing, when you're adding in a spouse after the fact, then typically I would tell my clients it'd be another 6 months. So that's how I address it. But we help our clients with it all the time, Mady. And one of the things that can help to expedite it as well is I know what immigration wants. So I've seen these spousal kits all the time, and we work with our clients all the time to help them sort it out and to do it properly so that there isn't huge, massive delays. But nothing is quick these days, Mady. Okay, Eric says, for foreign education in Express Entry, I uploaded the degree certificates and the ECA, but not the transcripts. Would it be considered incomplete? Well, if you look at the specific instructions, it says degrees and diplomas, right? I always like to include the transcripts with it as well, but strictly speaking, it's not a mandatory component for foreign work experience. When you look at the Canadian side, the interesting part is that the document checklist, when you're claiming Canadian work experience, it creates a transcript section that didn't exist if you just had foreign work experience with an ECA. So I include it, yes, but is it fatal? No. Okay, let's see what's next. Ramnik says, I got a notification of interest letter from Alberta. Congratulations on April the 24th. So that's just, about 16 days ago, just about 17 days ago. Congratulations. I mailed them on the 25th of April, but I didn't get any link mail from them. What should I do? Please suggest. Follow up with another email. Absolutely, because you don't want to run out of time. You've got a short window of time. So maybe it went to maybe you had a typo in the email. Like if you need help, Ramnik, don't hesitate to book a consult. But the reality is I would really press it. I would call them and make sure that there isn't somehow their response didn't go to your junk mail. But yeah, your timing is really critical here. You don't want to run out of time. So please take action on that as well and just reach out directly to them. Okay, let's see here. It looks like Odili's got another question here. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. Okay, another super chat from Odili. If a person is on a study permit, can the spouse, who is the spousal open work permit, be the principal applicant for PR? Yeah, they can. Absolutely. Yeah, there's nothing restricting them from becoming the principal applicant. And in fact, for many people who were drawn under the one and only federal skilled worker draw, many of them were in Canada already, and it was their foreign work experience that allowed them to qualify. So yeah, there's no problems if you're on a study permit with having your spouse on the spousal open work permit to become the principal applicant for permanent residence. No issues. Okay, let's keep zipping through here. All right, we've got a lot of questions and I definitely don't want to miss any. Cheers to you too, Sam. Cheers to you. Okay. Okay. Divine says, can I use a police certificate that expires within 5 months to apply for my non-express entry PNP application? As long as that police clearance is valid at the time in which you submit your application, then you can. Yeah, but make sure that you do not cut it close, right? This 6 months is usually the cutoff. Sometimes some applications will say a year, but I treat 6 months as kind of my deadline, and then I know I'm safe for everything. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Harsh says, in personal history, for a work experience in Canada, part of it is done after applying for the postgrad work permit, and the rest of it is done after the postgrad work permit is approved. Does it require 2 entries due to 2 different statuses? No, 1 is fine. There's no problem distinguishing between that. The moment you file your postgrad work permit, you're eligible to claim those points towards Canadian work experience that time. So not an issue with that. Let's see here. Okay, Crazy Love says, my question is similar to Neil's. If you have been transferred to another position job title with the same knock, but for an indefinite period while you're still employed, should you separate it? Anytime that you change positions, even if it's within the same NOC, and if it's for the same company, the same employer, I separate it out. Because generally speaking, it means a change in responsibility or wage. And so technically, it's not good to lump it all in as if it's the same position, because it's not, even if the NOC code is the same. So I like to separate it out. But yes, the reference letter will continue to be uploaded for both of those. Okay. Onyx says, hey, Mark, good morning. Can remote work experience obtained from a foreign country while holding a Canadian work permit be used for express entry? Yes, it can. Yes, it can. But it has to meet all the requirements, paid full-time, all that kind of stuff. Skilled, tier 3 or higher, all of that stuff needs to come into play. Okay, let's see who is next. We're getting through a whole bunch. Anna, nice haircut, Mark. Thanks. Yes, I did get it cut. Yes, I did. Okay, Renee says, does mandamus work for TR to PR? Okay, this is a great teaching moment. Those of you who are stuck in the queue with the TR to PR, you need to understand that there are different rules for the TR to PR compared to express entry. There is no stated processing time for TR to PR. In fact, the Federal Skilled Worker Program, before express entry was created, it was highly unusual to see anyone get their application approved within 2 years. In fact, in some countries, it was as much as 5, 6, or even 7 years processing a federal skilled worker application. But express entry was created to allow a fast tracking of economic permanent resident applications through the federal high skilled programs, CEC, federal skilled worker, federal skilled trade. So that's a whole different set of rules. With the TR to PR pathway, many international graduates and those essential workers are used to seeing express entry processing times. And they also saw, and many of the people who took my TR to PR pathway course, I think there was almost 500 of them, the vast majority of them all got through within the first, 15, 20 minutes of the portal opening for the TR to PR, and they're all PRs now. So in the beginning, they were processed really quickly. But as time went on, all the visitor visa officers who were processing TR to PR pathway, they went back to process visitor visas abroad, and the TR to PR then fell into a far fewer number of officers who were processing them. That's why the levels plans for 2023 account for, I think it's between 20 to 30,000 applications being finalized this year. So TR to PR, anyone who's filed a TR to PR pathway application, mandamus is not appropriate in the circumstances, because this application is more akin to a humanitarian and compassion application. And when you look at the processing times for H&C, it's more akin to 2 years or longer. Startup visas are over 3 years. And so understand that the TR to PR pathway is not designed to be expedited or fast. And so because those, the processing times are normal and typical, having something that's been 2 years or longer in the queue is not unusual. So, can mandamus work? Well, depending upon the circumstances, possibly. If they've been sitting on it and no action has been taken for like a year and a half, and they've just sat on it and there's nothing, no correspondence, nothing after they've reached a certain stage, well, maybe. But generally speaking, it's tough to make it work for mandamus. But Renee, I'm happy to talk with you about it and explore the options. It's really easy to do that. All you have to do, you guys, is just slide over to our firm website and just click on Speak to a Lawyer right here, and it will pull you right into our consult booking page, and you can choose which options you have or you would like available for you. Okay. All right, let's slide back here again. Let's get to some more questions. Okay. Okay, Meet Shaw. Hello, good to see you again. I need to ask for International Student Stream, Ontario. Does the gross income is for my own shop or all 7-Eleven as whole? Since it's not a franchise, it's directly under 7-Eleven. I'm a manager. Okay, so this is a perfect example of where a consult is really, really necessary, because I'm going to need to talk with you and get a whole lot more information before I can really explain, how your situation applies to the specific rules for the International Student Stream. I need to understand a little bit more about the corporate relationship between the entities. Are they all subsidiaries? Are they all under one wholly owned company? Directly under 7-Eleven, I'm a manager. Yeah, so definitely we'll need to chat about that. Okay. Let's see what we have next here. Harsh, hello, Harsh, says, how to input activity that lasted for less than a month in personal history. Same month for start and end? Exactly. That's what you do. Okay. Okay. Arsoy says, Mark, is giving birth in U.S. on a tourist visa a red flag for IRCC? Well, not really. I guess it depends upon what type of application you're filing or what you're seeking entry to Canada for. But, that's not something that would necessarily trigger some kind of a red flag. Okay, let's see here. Mary, you're very, very welcome. Okay. Okay, so John Justin says, hey, Mark, is it true that it is allowed to have 2 work permits at the same time? Please provide the law if you don't mind. Thanks. John, there's no law that says you're authorized to hold more than 1 work permit. The law is silent on it. And unless there's a specific prohibition, then you can hold more than 1 work permit. In fact, I've had situations where consultants in the US were coming up under CUSMA, the professional category, and they held multiple work permits for multiple different employers that they were working for. So there is no specific provision or law that says you are authorized to hold 2 work permits. It doesn't exist. And so how do you know something is? Often you're able to do it because there's no prohibition against it. It's like, for example, can I file more than 1 permanent resident application at the same time? Well, there's no prohibition against that, but there is a prohibition from having more than 1 sponsorship or undertaking in place at the same time. So it's more a process of just the absence of the law, therefore doesn't or authorizes the thing that you're trying to do. Okay. All right. Alva says, if someone's refused to study in Canada because they have been created an express entry before, is it an issue when applying for AIP PR in terms of applying for temporary work? Optional. Alva, book a consult and let's chat about that, because immigration can't just refuse your application alone. I would argue that it's unreasonable for them to refuse a study permit application just because you have an express entry profile in the pool. That goes contrary to the specific policy directives that NHQ had sent out to the officers about dual intent. Now, if they relied on other factors, age, they don't, the bona fides, they really dove into those and explained why they felt you had a lack of those bona fides and, demonstrating an intention to return, then that's a different discussion. Yeah, and we've got a comment here that says, yeah, I know people approve study permit with current profile. Exactly. Okay, Noon says, can you use an AOS nomination certificate to claim 600 points? No, you cannot. Understand it must strictly be through the Express Entry stream. So Alberta Opportunity Stream goes through the PR portal, not through Express Entry, and the processing times are different. And this is something else to kind of take a look at. Let's slide over here and take a peek. So if we go economic immigration, and then we go provincial nominees, and then we go, is it online via Express Entry? AOS is not. Then we check processing times. It's a lot lengthier, so 19 months. Whereas if it goes through Express Entry, then of course it's going to be less. And in this case, it's 10 months. But it could be even less. It just depends on the circumstances. Okay, we're cruising along here, making good headway. Okay, Core says, can we raise web form if client information document in study permit didn't upload due to some glitch or error in GCQ, or we should consider reapply? This is absolutely a consult. Although I will tell you guys that when you're uploading client information, sometimes when you go back into your portal, your IRCC secure account, and you look at your EAPR, that document checklist, sometimes it doesn't appear. It just disappears. So it's not unusual. You may very well have actually uploaded it. I make sure that I have a screenshot of everything that's uploaded, so there's no doubt as to what was included and what wasn't. Yeah, if you feel like you need to, you can absolutely send it in again through a web form, Core. But I recommend you book a consult if you're concerned about that, and we can chat. Okay, yes, Alva's from Peru. That's right, Alva. Okay, Inzero says, I'm applying through the Alberta Advantage Immigration Program as a videographer in Edmonton. Wonderful. Do you think it's possible since the job is medium demanding? Well, understand that if you're Alberta Opportunity Stream and you're working on a work permit in Alberta, there are certain parameters that exist for you to be able to qualify. So there's difference between the Alberta Opportunity Stream, which requires an employer-specific work permit, or a post-grad where you're completed your studies in Alberta and are working in a position that's similar. Those types of situations come into play with the Alberta Opportunity Stream. But through the Express Entry Stream, where they pull you out, it just depends, right? It depends on what they're looking for. So yeah, I can't answer that one. But let's see, I can show you guys a tool, a little bit of a resource. Let's see if I can find it. My main contact has retired within the program. Let's see if I can find the link that the other officer had sent me. Give me a second. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. Let's see here. I'm working here. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. Okay, I'll share this with you guys. So this here is, if you're wondering, in Alberta, so this is a hot tip, you guys. If you're in Alberta and you're wondering, what is the Alberta Advantage Immigration Program used to determine what's in demand or what isn't in demand? It's Alberta's Occupational Outlook that they use, among other things. And you can search and you can see where shortages are in the short term and the long term. And so there's a lot of really, really good information in here. There's forecasts. You can see longer term forecasts until 2025, short-term employment forecasts, which tend to be like more current, the STEF. So that's where you can go to get an idea of what Alberta is looking at in terms of shortages over the coming years. Hot tip, job market forecasts in Alberta. See, don't you guys ever say that you're not getting juicy goods here from the live Q&A. On the spot, free, not concealed or hidden or forcing you to pay for them. The reality is we're here to help. Okay, let's see what's next. Okay. Inzero says, I applied for an Edmonton local video production company. Yeah, that's great. Odelia, you're very, very welcome. And let's see what else we have here. Divine, you're welcome as well. Okay. Neomis says, hi, Mark, my next semester is my final semester. I'm going to be part-time for that semester with only having 2 courses left. Can I work full-time while studying those 2 courses? No, you can't. Remember, you can only work if you're, okay, let me take a step back, okay? So there's the gap between the last semester. When you have 2 more, you're still considered to be full-time. In that last semester when you're working, of course, you can only work 20 hours, but you can work, and IRCC does allow for the last couple courses in the last semester to be, to be something less than the full course load. Okay, but Arsenal here, the Arsenal fan, Neomis, I highly recommend that you book a consult so that we can go through this together. Because anytime people are asking specific questions like this, there may be things that I'm missing. So on the bare face of what you're asking here, generally speaking, it may be possible, but I highly recommend that you book a consult, and because there might be some things that you're not telling me or other factors at play here that would change the answer for you in specific. So once again, I just ring the little triangle and encourage you to slide right over here to our firm website and book a consult with myself or Alicia here. Okay, we're just about out of time here, guys. Just about out. Okay, Lucine says, thanks for answering my earlier question, but the thing is, I'm claiming points from my spouse's ECA that I got after the ITA. Well, no. If you are trying to, I don't know how you're claiming points for the spouse's ECA that you received after the ITA. I'm not quite sure. Did you receive the provisional results? Obasine, I recommend that you book a consult. Yeah, because I'm not sure how you received those points unless you entered in some information in order to have those points triggered. Okay. Okay, here's a good question. P1D3 says, any predictions for today's CRS score? Let's look it up here. Let's see if what we think in terms of the rounds of invitations. So we know that the ministry has been doing ministerial instructions that are a little bit lower in volume compared to previous draws. 483 was the last one, and that was about 2 weeks ago. So we could very feasibly expect to see one today. So if we look back at the previous rounds, we can see that the points, there was a little bit of a delay after these big ones, which pushed the score up to 486. And then they did another one 2 weeks later, which dropped it down 3 to 483. Given the fact we're another 2 weeks, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's probably going to be around 481 or about 481. I'm going to go with 481 if it's a true no program specified draw and Minister Fraser has not done any type of targeting. Okay, Mr. Wikipedia. Hello from Italy. My question is, my wife is Canadian and I am Azerbaijani. I have applied for a visitor visa, and can I apply for a work residence permit after I come to Canada? Well, there's lots of different ways to apply for work permits, but if you're just looking to just apply straight based on the fact that you are married to a Canadian, there isn't a provision that allows for that unless you actually file a spousal sponsorship. And I want to point out to you guys as well, this is something that I don't talk a lot about. Let me go back here and I'll share my screen. On this page, you will see if you are looking at sponsoring a spouse, express entry is here, yes. But if you're looking at applying for the postgrad 18-month extension that has come up, there's a course for that. The study permit course is here as well. And if you're applying to study or you're using an agent and you just want to figure out, make sure you're doing things properly, then absolutely subscribe to the study permit course. And remember, the spousal sponsorship course is here as well if you're looking to sponsor or be sponsored by a spouse. So I strongly encourage you to check that out. But ultimately, after you've filed your spousal, you can apply for an open work permit once your spousal sponsorship has been accepted for processing, if it's through the In Canada class. So Mr. Wikipedia, recommend you book a consult or subscribe to the course and you can learn more. Okay. We are just about out of time here. I'm going to answer one more question. Okay, Sonali, this is something that I cover at length in my Express Entry course. When uploading my supporting documents to PR, should I upload PDFs with a table of contents at the start to make it easy for the officer to know what in each PDF? So once again, if we slide back here and go to the course, I can actually scroll right down into here. One of the things that I teach in my library here, I've got so many different courses here, and this is your view if you subscribe to them. If you go down here, you'll see in my mastering documents, one of the lessons that I spend a tremendous amount of time on right here is letters of explanation. And this lesson 54 on letters of explanation, you can see I spend 28 minutes here just talking about this. And then I have templates that I feel personally are absolutely in line with what, would make it super, super easy for an officer to review and approve. And in fairness, within our Express Entry, if we look at About Us and you look at our approach right here, this direct, and yes, if you haven't joined the newsletter, because we have lots of information pumping out weekly on that, direct lawyer to client collaboration. This is where you maintain control of your application and fast track the process. You save unnecessary legal fees and you experience this truly innovative representative model. So we work directly with our clients. So we have lots of options for you. And it all starts with booking a consult, and then you can retain us to basically for peace of mind, knowing that we've gone through your application with you collaboratively together. And I wouldn't trade that for any other process in the world. It's just wonderful. Oh, Pushkar says, I will be your customer if I receive an ITA today, hoping this year's draw 481. Hey, I said 481, my friend Pushkar, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed that will happen. I also saw someone slip in a super here again. Let's see who's next. It is Lovey-Dovey says, over the 6 months for CEC, should I be concerned? Not at all. Not at all. Those are average processing times. and it's not uncommon that things can take a little bit longer. Lovey-dovey, I don't know if you've got if you have dependents overseas or if there's other factors, but it is not uncommon for processing time to exceed the 4 months. In other words, 80% of the applications, they say, are processed in that period of time. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right. Okay. All right. I think we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much, everybody, for connecting in and being a part of the Express Entry Live Q&A today. It was wonderful having you join me. As always, everything that we do here is really supported and sponsored by Holthe Immigration Law and my law firm. And so if you are wondering, how do I get Mark and his team to work with me and to help me with my application, I like what he's saying, then absolutely slide over and connect with one of the members of the team, myself or Alicia or Igor, and we can help you and assist you in your journey. And remember, we've got a ton of other information. Go check out our blog posts on our website. There's a ton of blogs you can search. When I say there's a ton of blog posts, there's a ton. And every time there's a new announcement or something new, there's going to be some really, really good resources and help to guide you. And then, of course, the podcast, like I mentioned in the beginning, if you haven't subscribed on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast, please do. We've got another podcast episode that's going to be dropping that Alicia and I did on our business immigration series. And Igor and I are going to be doing another podcast all geared towards the whole world of CUET, which is the Canada-Ukraine Authorization for Emergency Travel. So check those things out. And what else do we have? Of course, the YouTube channel itself. If we go back to the main channel here, you will see that this video is one of so many. We're closing in on 50,000 subscribers. We're going to have a big party when we hit the 50,000 subscribers. But you can search the channel and search past videos right here and look up everything. So if I use self-employed work, you can just type that in. And you can see there's lots of videos that I've done in the past on these topics. So I encourage you to check those out. So there's no shortage of resources, tools, support, and of course, all the links are below in the description. Book a consult if you need help. We're here to help you, and hopefully this was helpful. So I want to sign off and wish you guys all the very best, and I'll be back tomorrow at noon with Alicia to do our Canada Immigration Live Q&A where we talk about everything. So thanks so much. Hopefully this was helpful. Have a wonderful afternoon, everybody. Take care, and we will see you later.